Okay, so you have got your perioperative wound closure. Um,
Yes,
the
I raided the rabbits.
Yep, the male rabbit has took off. He's left. Um, so I was like, well, now that we're done with that, I suppose we can go to town.
Of course, I'm looking around this very, very fascinating ruin,
Oh, we still be on the road. Okay.
and before heading off to town, I do just kind of want to kick some tires a little bit and just kind of search around some to get a bit of an idea of if there's anything um, even noteworthy. It looks like there's at least wood, which could be of a collectible quality, stone, which could be of a collectible quality. I mean, I'm just kind of taking note what's here. How far did you say this was away from where I
Right.
live, where we live?
It was about 60, 70 miles from the house where your parents were killed at. Now,
From where we live, though, it was like 2 miles, you said, down the
oh,
road,
from
wasn't
Stella's
it?
house.
Yes.
Yes,
Okay.
it's about 2 miles from Stella's.
So at any point in time, I'm looking around thinking this may end up being a fortress that we want to take a stand at if the villagers do come with pitchforks. And so I am just kind of looking around and mapping the place out in my mind, hoping I won't ever need that map, but just taking note.
Okay. Um, what you do see is, like you said, there is stone that's crumbled away, and you could do something with it if you really wanted to. There is the wood that could be repurposed, or maybe with a bit of effort used to remake parts of the structure. But otherwise, you don't find anything that's like super useful, like
It's all old and splintery, I'm sure.
yeah,
Yeah,
like it's been in
breaking
disrepair
down.
for a good
Yeah.
20 years.
But one could make a bit of a fortress out of this somehow if in a pinch, especially against maybe like zombies or some stupid thing. You could use some of this to make, little cross hatches and stuff to create a little defensive.
Are you saying this out loud?
I mean, yeah, I guess I'm just kind of like walking through and
All
taking
right.
note, and
And Stella looks at you and is like, I forgot what it's like to be mortal and afraid of everything.
it's not about fear so
The
much as
the
it's about
paranoia that you have. Oh my god. But I guess it's healthy too. It'll help you survive.
strategic awareness.
Okay. You
You
call
know,
it
it's
what you
always
want.
a good idea to know what's on hand in your environment, and that's both immediate as well as more distant. This is close enough to your lair that it's good to take note. And the fact is, I like the fact that there's an underground that one could back up into as well. Might at some point want to come back and actually make sure that we can dig out some sort of exterior escape.
Well, we might first want to purchase it if we're going to actually use it.
Do you think it would be available for sale?
Well, everything's for sale for a price.
Hmm.
Or other
May not
means.
may not be a bad idea. A little bit of a project, perhaps, but maybe not a bad idea. I just kind of come up and look over here and
It's trees
check
and
out the well.
such. The well looks like let's see. Do you see any water down there? You do not see any water at the bottom of the well.
Well, at least
So,
there was spring water in the cave, it seemed.
yes, and maybe the well can be easily fixed. Maybe it's just collapsed down there.
Is there any kind of rope or string or anything leading down into the well?
Um, no, the rope that used to have the bucket on it. Um, but you can't see. Actually, you can't even see that far down because you don't have. Are you like lighting your sword and sticking it down where you can see that further?
Yeah, go over the effect on that because I was looking at my cantrips and I'm not seeing an effect
Your
there. But
sword will give you 30 feet of bright and another 30 feet of dim. And you
oh,
can do
well,
that
yes,
three
of
times a
course
day.
then.
Okay.
Well, yeah, all right. What's one use?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's what it is.
And how long does it last? It says you must target a token before rolling music.
Looks like it lasts until you douse the light, so you can have that light for the rest of the evening.
Well, I don't really intend any stealth at the moment, so yes, this is my torch.
Oh, and
Okay,
actually, that's not an expended use. Sorry.
light is not.
Nope.
Oh, cool. I
Just
like
regaining
that.
hit points.
Where do I find? Okay, there's the inventory.
Go to your crystal rapier,
Yeah,
click on it.
3 charges. When you hit a creature with an attack roll using the sword, you can expend a charge to regain a number of hit points equal to the extra radiant damage the sword dealt. You can use bonus action to cause it to shed bright light in a 30-foot radius and dim light for an additional 30 feet, to cause it to shed dim light in 10-foot radius, or to douse the light. So basically, it's at will,
Yep.
any of those.
Yep.
I can even have it be a dim light, like say when I'm traveling, if I don't want to be too.
Yeah.
Here I am, everyone.
Yeah, if you just want to see something soon enough to not trip on it, you can just have that 10-foot of dim and yeah. So as you do that and you light it up and you look down, you can indeed see that the well has collapsed, and there is an old decayed bucket and rope sitting on top of the collapsed wall.
Can I ask for a ruling on this, just so I know?
Okay.
It says when you hit with an attack roll using this sword, the target takes an extra 1d8 radiant damage.
Yes.
And then the next paragraph says it has 3 charges, yada yada, regains 1d3 charges daily at dawn. And when you hit a creature with an attack roll using the sword, you can expend 1 charge to regain a number of hit points equal to the extra radiant damage the sword dealt.
Yes.
Do I need to declare that before the attack, or can I declare it after
I would
see
say
how
since it's
much
giving
damage
you
it
the
dealt?
option of using it or not, I would say that you can use it after you have determined if it looked like the radiant did a lot of damage or not. That's the way I would interpret that.
Yeah, that's
Because
that's a
otherwise, it'll
kind
just
of
be you decide if you're going to use this and then hit. So
yeah.
that's
Well,
the way
that's
I'll
that's
roll.
like usually how it would work in
Yeah, because it
in
says when you
in
hit,
previous versions.
you can expend. So yeah,
Yeah,
I'm saying you hit and then you decide if you're going to expend a charge or not.
yeah.
That's the
So
way I
so
would
you,
roll on it.
I was thinking that the wording suggested that
Yep.
too. But I was also thinking that's pretty dang cool because if I'm going to use a charge, I'd like to make sure I'm using it when it's effective.
Yep.
Anyway, all right, cool. So,
I
what did you say about the well and what I see?
when you look down, you can see right at the edge of that light that the walls have collapsed down, and on top of it is a rotted out bucket and rope. So
At the bottom.
at the bottom, yes.
And maybe the walls are keeping whatever water would be there from being at the
coming up.
level it needs to be at. So it would
Yep.
just take someone getting down there, digging it out.
Yep. Well, if you were me, you would have spider climb, and then you could just walk down there.
Show off.
Yep.
Fine. Show off some more. Let's go to this town.
Oh, all right. If you're ready.
I just wanted to get an idea of what
Oh,
was
no,
around.
it's fine. It's actually kind of refreshing to see someone who actually takes an interest in their surroundings, because I've been so far removed from humanity that I just get more focused on other things, and it's
It can
fine.
be a bad thing to be too entirely goal oriented.
I'm just giving you a hard time.
And I do imagine that if you've got all the time in the world, you actually become more goal oriented towards long term goals.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. Although it could work the opposite way. You could feel like you have all the time in the world and don't need to accomplish anything in a small amount or in as small amount of time as possible, and that could give you incredible elven patience. But apparently, for you, not so much the case. The human side of impatience is still there for you.
Well, I think so, yes. I like to accomplish things, and that's what I focus on, and yeah, the little things don't really matter to me that much. It's like the house. I make a show of making it look inhabitable because I need it to, but I really don't care beyond that.
Mm.
Whereas you are looking at it going, oh, I need a clean plate to eat off of.
You must have lived long enough to see any projects that you had completed crumble over the time span thereafter.
Oh, for sure.
That would be a bit demotivating, I must admit.
Well, that's why I have very simple goals now.
Yeah. They say all we are is dust in the wind, and if you actually saw how true that was over the time span you have to be alive, I can imagine.
I mean, maybe that's why the gods don't care about us that much, because they've seen us rise and fall so many times. They're just like, whatever, we're done with this. You
I
know?
don't know that the gods don't care. I think I think they're growing wiser and trying to give us more self-determination. But I
It's a
wouldn't say that they don't care.
that's a fancy way of saying they don't care.
They're certainly more removed.
You
Maybe they're
can
distracted.
you can take care of yourself because I don't want to deal with it anymore. You know?
Hmm. I would imagine that we would get exhausting after a while.
Yeah.
Consider the constant customer service of being a deity. Ugh.
Yeah. I can't imagine why anyone would ever want to aspire to that. Other than the power. The limitless power that you could possess.
Still not limitless enough.
Well, if you're only
As in,
immortal.
there's an old philosophical question, and I say this as we start walking off, I guess.
Alright.
There's an old philosophical question. I wonder where you stand on it. Can a god who's extremely powerful, perhaps all powerful, create a stone that he cannot lift? What's your take on that?
Sure. Because all the god would have to do is just decide that he's going to limit his strength for that moment.
But that would mean he can. He's just inflicting upon himself a limitation.
Sure.
So, in other words, he can't create a stone that he could not lift.
Not without putting a limitation upon himself, no. Because if he has unlimited power, then there's no such thing as something that he couldn't move.
Mm-hmm.
Because if he has that much power, he could just will it to move.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So
But then that's a limitation of his infinite power.
Sure.
That's
My question would be, why would he want to?
not really the scope of the intent of the question.
Oh, okay.
The scope of the intent of the question is whether or not unlimited, true all power can exist. It's paradoxical to
Wouldn't
say.
unlimited power be subjective to the individual defining the power in the first place?
Yes, thus a
So we
limit.
could never answer that question.
Thus a limit, in a way.
Okay.
One must limit the scope of the question so as to try to answer it. But by nature, it proves that paradox exists. It's something I muse on sometimes. Anytime my mind finds paradoxes, I fix on them unhealthily, I'm sure. Hey, look at that rock. It looks like a butt.
Oh, how can you see that from our level of view that's equal to it?
I shine.
But we're on the same plane as it is. Are you sure?
Well,
No. That's cute. Okay.
I have a three-dimensional eye.
Oh, okay.
So, are we moving on?
Yeah, so you guys move on, and as you're talking, and eventually you make it to a bridge over the river that leads into the town of Riverton. And Stella's like, well, this is town. We need to go to the blacksmith. He should have what I'm looking for you. And hopefully he's still awake. It's rather late.
That's what I was going to say, is that it's amazing that the blacksmith should work so late. Is he or anyone else in this town aware of your nature as much as I am?
No. People in the town know me, but I have not been as forthcoming with them as to my true nature.
Any of them seem to be gaining suspicions that we should be aware of, or?
No, there's no reason to. I don't kill anybody here. There's
No, but you're rather nocturnal.
I don't
Knocking
steal
on
from
the
people. I go out in the
blacksmith's door at what time is it?
go out before dark once in a while just to put up the appearance.
Throw him off the scent.
Yeah.
Everyone seems to believe it would be impossible
I
if you
mean,
could even be out during the day.
yes. I mean,
Right.
it's so funny how people believe that. I mean, really, we can all be out in the daytime. It just seriously weakens us.
Really?
Yep.
It's my understanding that it would burn you away.
No, but I don't regenerate health. I can't shapeshift. It's not good.
Huh.
It takes away a lot of my advantages.
This must be a version war thing. Uh, so lead on. I don't know this town that well, or do I actually? TM.
I don't think you've ever been to Riverton.
Okay.
Because it is quite a ways from your summer home, which was quite a ways from your winter home. So, yeah, I don't think that you've been here before.
Doesn't look like there's Well, I mean, just looking at it from an overhead viewpoint that the player has on this map, it doesn't look like there's a very strong um, elite society presence here.
No, not really. Everyone's fairly equal in this town. There are some merchants who are obviously richer than others, but the the caste system is much tighter than other cities. It is a rural town. Just a bunch
I'm,
of hardworking folk.
I'm sure there's probably one or two people that I would want to learn who they are, but yeah, okay.
Well, for now, um, as we walk by this house, the house in between you two to the southwest, um, she says, "This is where Primula lives. Kind of a cleric sort. Um, you might enjoy talking to her. I'm not sure."
Did you say Primula?
Yes, Primula.
Hold on, let me see if I can bring up a notepad that's associated with a previous game. Campaign notes. Mine. Okay. Nope. That would then be me. Okay. Primula. Primula.
Yep.
Priestess. Do I recognize any symbology to suggest of whom?
That would require me to have actually assigned her that. Um,
Sucks not living in a Christian world, man.
yeah. Go ahead and roll me an religion check,
I
and I will make something up real quick. Fuck me. All right.
That was on recording.
It's okay if you curse a little bit on YouTube.
This
So
is not for children.
I checked that box as well.
Yeah.
So you see the symbology that you associate with saloon, and you would
That's what I would have assumed.
yes,
Okay.
and yes, um, and Stella clarifies and says, yes, she is a cleric of saloon,
So
and
does the home look more like a home than a shrine, or does it look like something that during the day you could walk into, or even at night, being a saloon?
you can visit her. It's an open house. She has a small room off to the side that is, you know, off limits to the general populace, but you can walk in there, and there is an altar in there, and you can offer up prayer if you wish.
I would like to point out. I mean, I would imagine you've had some discussions with Primula before. Is this
Oh yes,
how
yes.
you know
I've
her?
I've talked with her a couple of times. We've met while I was wandering the town at night, and she's a pleasant woman.
Well, I would imagine she would also be a very interesting resource in terms of tracking down your quarry.
Oh, you do realize that they don't have to turn just on the full moon, right?
Well, I understand that, but her priesthood would be a network of reporting between them to let each other know where their primary nemesis are lurking. You'd think they would be keeping their eyes and ears open, and you could get information on the comings and goings and where beings of others of the nature of those rabbits down the road.
Oh,
Not just of rabbits.
well, yes, I see what you're saying. And perhaps I've misled you into believing that there's were creatures everywhere. They're
Maybe not, but they would know where.
they're kind of rare. It's not like there's a lot of them running around all over the place.
Thankfully.
Yes, yeah, thankfully. Yeah. Would be
Yeah.
horrible to have to worry about this every day, being attacked by them. But
Yeah, I guess I'm just saying that
I don't know that Saloon worries that much about if they are actually an enemy. I think they're only an enemy to the mortals, not so much to Saloon herself. But I'm not sure.
Saloon has never taken favor to the fact, which is why apparently the silver metal of the moon is what defeats them.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, just
You know more about Saloon than I do, it appears.
some religious texts that I have read. Yes. All right. Well,
All right.
I don't know this town, so I won't further
Okay.
hinder you in showing me around.
All right. Well, as we move down this way, um, from the building to your right, that has the 8 by it, you do hear a little bit of conversation. If you want to give me a perception check, I can tell you how much of a conversation you hear. Yeah, you hear voices. There's one voice that's talking louder than the others and seems to be directing people. But that's about all you pick up from that. Stella does tell you though, this is the theater.
Oh.
I think they're practicing right now, rehearsing. Sometimes they have musical concerts here. They have an open mic night where people get up and read poetry. It sucks. I do not recommend it, but it is somewhere
Poetry
where
is one of those things you have to develop a
yes, some
taste
people are
for.
good at it and some aren't. But
As a lyricist, it comes into play. I believe that poetry without song is flatly unenjoyable, but poetry with song, on the other hand, generally speaking, I do try to avoid words to my song, and I like for music to speak the words for me. I
yes,
sometimes
you made
find
that evident last
musicians.
night when you played at your house.
I just I just find that it's a crutch that many musicians use and is kind of pathetic, really. Um, but sometimes it can be clever. Okay, especially when it's in another language. Okay, so that is the theater. Is there a particular name for this theater that I should be aware of, or Riverton
It's
Theater,
just the
Community Theater,
Gathering House.
the Gathering House?
Yeah,
Okay,
that's what it's called now. The Gathering House.
and I might find some people in there that may wish to use my talents on occasion if for some reason we're desperate for coin, but I have a feeling we're never going to be desperate for coin. Maybe I'll step in and blow their minds one of these days, just for fun.
Yes, you could.
I do enjoy a good play, and I like to write them.
Okay. Well, perhaps we'll have time where you can write something and see it produced. But
Well,
my hope is it doesn't take
you
us
are
that long to find the werewolf and kill him. But
you are one with lots of time on her hands.
yes, maybe I should start writing plays.
Yeah,
Um,
maybe.
the house across the street, the one just below you,
Mhm.
uh, an elvish man named Envir, Envir, lives
You
here.
mean right here or the two?
The four,
Okay.
that
An
house.
elvish man, and what's his name?
Envir,
Lemvir, as in
in
Lem
Envir, Envir.
Envir.
Yep.
Okay.
Uh, he fancies himself a master of swordsmanship, and he likes to duel people for fun. Um, so if you're ever interested in crossing blades with a master swordsman,
Could be good to learn more.
yes, he's.
Um, does he make swords or just
I have not seen him make one. I've only seen him
okay,
use them.
interesting. Okay.
The house here, number 9, is a gambling hall. Um, there are um, there's a little bit of sound in there. For the most part, though, it's kind of a family getaway where the parents will go in and they'll gamble a little bit, and the kids will go in the back and they'll play the arcade games. Um, it's not really a den of
And we're not
seedy
talking about
individuals.
Pac-Man here. We're talking.
No, we're talking about like ring toss and throwing darts and such things.
Good for the little children. Okay, cool.
Yep. This building here, number 7, you see a little sign that says "Don't stay out," and it's the inn.
You said don't stay out?
Yep,
Is that the name of the inn?
that's the name of the inn. Is "Don't stay out."
I like it. What happens when the bouncer has to throw you out?
Well, then I suppose he does say "Stay out," but he'll probably let you back in tomorrow.
Yeah,
Yes,
interesting.
I don't frequent there very often. There's not really a need, but I've heard they have a good stew.
All right. I heard
Um,
when someone threw themselves off the roof of this building, they found out that that person was not the bouncer.
that's clever. Is that because they just were splatted instead of bouncing? Okay. Um, and here is the blacksmith where she is.
Ah, okay.
And I'm gonna go ahead and switch scenes real quick.
Is there a name for this establishment on the
No,
sign,
it's
or
just got
just
a hammer and an anvil hanging up on a little placard. The
people
Universal.
need work on their branding?
Yes. Um. Okay.
Is he the only one in town?
Yes. With the size of the town, they don't really feel a need to have multiple blacksmiths. Um. And as you walk in, oops. There we go. As you walk in, you see a bearded, burly-looking man over by the forge to the right over there. Um, and he turns and looks at Stella and he goes, "Oh, hello, Stella. How are you this evening?" "Oh, we're fine. I have a new friend, Maximus. This is Ethis. Ethis, this is Maximus."
At your service.
"Oh, hello, young man. And how is this evening doing for you?"
It's a brisk and cool evening, which is something one standing so close to such a warm forge might not realize. Have you been able to step outside and cool off recently?
Oh, not for a couple hours. Busy trying to make some more tent steaks. We got the fair coming in a few days, and I need to make sure that there's plenty of steaks for all the tents. And kind of
Hmm.
busy this evening.
The stakes are high, in other words.
Well, no, technically right now they're low, but I'm hoping to make them high.
Got it.
Yes.
Yes.
Um, and what is it that you came here for, Stella? It doesn't seem like you have need of anything. Um, his armor got a little bit singed last night, and I would like to get him a new piece. Do you happen to have anything?
It's just leather.
Well, he doesn't look like a very burly boy. I don't think we'll be giving him any heavy plates. Let me go rummage around in my hide section real quick. Just a moment.
Make sure
Hey.
what you're looking for isn't hiding from you.
Oh, it might be. Let me check. And he comes over and he starts rummaging around in a couple of chests. Um, comes.
Meanwhile, I walk over here and run my hand through the uh, horseshoes, kind of just checking out the workmanship of the man that I'm working with here and getting an idea of just how exacting is he, or is he one of these that kind of does everything fairly quickly?
Um, it looks like a pretty decent horseshoe.
Is it
Um,
is it the kind of thing my parents would have purchased, or would they have allowed this guy to maybe outfit the military instead?
hmm. He's not a master craftsman, so if your parents were that discerning, yes, he would have been working for the
Right.
military, but not their personal armor, no.
Is pretty much what I expected. I just wanted to confirm that I wasn't dealing with something unexpected.
It's he's definitely competent at what he's doing.
Hmm. Sure.
Just, you know,
With that many horseshoes on the table, I would imagine he's made quite a few, and that in of itself is a sign of, I'm sure, practiced uh, efforts. Do you have or anyone that works for you, with you, helps you in this forge?
I do have an apprentice that I took on about 6 months ago, and he's an apprentice. He's trying, you know. Here I have found this. Obviously, I did not make this. I got it on trade. Um, I believe that.
Someone found it in the Amazon. Is that
Oh, I don't know where they found it, but they wanted to upgrade to something a little heavier, and I accommodated them, and they gave me this to take off some of the price. And
okay?
he hands you um, some leather armor. It's studded. Uh, there are metal rivets in it,
A little
and
heavier than I'm used to wearing.
it. It's not much heavier than what you're wearing. A
No.
little bit. You could put on a little bit more muscle and be perfectly fine with it.
Does studded impede skill checks over leather? No.
No,
Okay.
it's equivalent.
There's the slightest amount of penalty in
Yeah, no,
previous versions. Okay.
no. 5e is pretty chill. So,
More forgiving in that regard, not as granular in
yep,
the penalties.
yep.
Um,
As you hold it up, you do notice that this was last on an individual who was taller than you, maybe a little skinnier somehow.
but nothing too awkward. Okay.
No.
All right. Any kinds of burns or insignia or anything that might let me know something more about the previous owner as opposed to just here's a suit of studded leather?
Um, no, you don't see any such markings on it.
Okay. Um, what about the workmanship quality? What are we looking at in terms of
It looks pretty.
appraising it?
It looks pretty good, pretty nice. It's a well put together bit of armor.
Straps are strong still, no
Yep.
great
The
damage.
all of the metal bits look nice and shiny and sturdy. No rust. No tarnish on them. All the leather looks sound.
Do you have a changing room?
Oh, just step around the corner there, and Stella and I will just stay over here out of sight. And he points to the corner to the southwest of you, where you could hide behind that pillar by the stool.
Southwest. So we're
Oh,
talking.
southeast. Sorry, over here.
Ah,
Yeah,
okay.
there's room there to change without having to worry about modesty.
Although this pair of leather that I wear is, to some eyes, rather insignificant, and of course, in terms of its military value or battle worthiness, is no greater than any other suit of leather, you would find that it might, if you clean it up correctly, fetch a bit more of a price than you would expect if you took it to the correct workman in a city where they would note the person that created this. Um, my parents usually spared no expense, and you'll see by some of the filigree that some of this can be recovered to obtain. I feel as if I'm putting on a suit that's, yeah, my mother would laugh at me.
As you put it on, you notice that it resizes itself to fit you correctly.
Or would she? Who did you say you got this from?
It was a trade.
What were they trading?
Oh, they traded that armor for another bit of armor.
Armor you made?
No, it was an armor that I happened to have acquired.
Hmm.
It was a very nice elven chain. Anyway, the individual told me that um, you can picture yourself looking a certain way and then say the word, make it so, and you will appear as you wish. Go ahead, give it a try.
I'm gonna picture myself looking like a were rabbit with big long ears. Make it
Uh,
so.
okay, the armor will take an appearance. So if you wished for it to be, let's say, a white suit jacket with black tuxedo pants, picture yourself that way, and that is how your armor will appear. It does not disguise yourself.
I see. So he depicts himself in no armor whatsoever, open, kind of like swashbuckler look, kind of jerkin, that shows most of his chest and just kind of makes him look ridiculously vulnerable, uh, and yet enchantingly handsome at the same time. And I say, make it so.
And that is how you look. You
Damn.
have the appearance of a man of Fabio on the cover of some magazine or book. Yes.
Cape, like half cape and all.
Yep.
I pick up the armor that I was wearing and I said, Mom can suck it. Here.
Oh, are you saying that this is better than what your mommy got you?
Yeah. I mean, I picture myself in the armor as it was at its peak, and I say, make it so. And of
And
course, now I'm looking with all the filigree and everything that was etched into it, just like I would have looked in that. And I'm like, those in high society would recognize the brand name if that makes a difference. I don't think that it's a better look than I go back to what I was looking like before. This is much more um, what's the word? Oh, um, disarming.
yes, you don't look intimidating at all. Um,
That's not the point.
and you
Or
do,
that rather is the point.
and you do still feel like you have the armor on. It's not like it has changed.
I
It's
figured.
just the appearance has
Yeah.
changed.
I've probably done similar things with my illusionary spellcraft, but it's nice to be able to just have it done through the armor. That's neat. That's cool. And in fact, I'm going to make the armor now look like a suit of full plate for a moment. Can I even get it to cover the face? Is it that?
Um, no, because you don't have a headpiece. So,
Okay.
but it does look like you are wearing full plate armor.
Hmm.
But when you move, it's quiet still.
Maybe I'll have to get a headpiece so as to be able to cover up my face if I need to.
I'm not sure that the enchantment's going to help, and that might impede you a little bit, wouldn't it?
Yes, but if I wanted to go about somewhere and not be identified and have someone think that, hey, he's just a guard. Anyway, I
Oh,
don't
well,
necessarily need the helmet right now, and I will probably find this to already be more weighty than I'm accustomed to, particularly if I'm walking the kinds of distances as we have this evening.
oh,
I thought we
speaking.
said something about a horse.
Yes, I was. Do you think the stable is still open? Well, I kind of doubt it. Um, but I can have someone bring your horses to you tomorrow. I can leave a note. Oh, that would be most excellent. It would be very nice to have our horses back. I'll need two of them brought out to the manor. Yep, that will not be a problem. Is there anything else that you would be needing this evening? Um, wood. Didn't you say you needed some wood, Maximus?
Any chance we could get a, uh, I mean, yes, wood. Can we get a cart attached to one of those horses that carries at least a little bit of the wood with them so that we don't have to carry the wood back ourselves? And there was quite a bit of wood to be recovered that we have seen previously that we can just get down the road a little closer to home.
Oh, well, I think that wood is going to be maybe a few days out before it could be delivered.
How about
As I
just the
said,
cart?
the oh, perhaps a cart can be acquired, but the fair. is going to be happening soon, and people are kind of focused on that right now.
Yeah,
After the fair, I'm sure that we can bring out a big wagon full of wood for you.
for now, a cart would suffice.
All right, I will add mention of a cart.
I mean, I
Um,
think so. I look at her like, we gonna be too busy to do anything here? Like, I don't know what our itinerary is gonna be like. So,
well, I was thinking that you could go to the fair unless we hear news sooner.
okay. So,
Um,
in other words, we do have to just bide our time for a while. So,
yes, I'm still waiting to hear some news. Um, hopefully that will be happening pretty soon. Um, in the next few days is my hope. And yeah, in the meantime, we have a little bit of time to occupy ourselves with. Um,
fun.
would it be possible to get him some vegetables as well with the cart? He keeps mentioning he wants some vegetables. I don't know why, but yes.
uh,
Yeah, I can put that in the note as well that you wish to purchase a bushel of vegetables
uh,
and
seeds as well, perhaps, if I'm
all
going to
right.
have lots of time on my hands.
Okay. Um, yes, seeds. And do you have tools out there somewhere?
I was just gonna say maybe some gardening tools. I'm sure you're used
Okay,
to
yeah.
making some of them.
We'll add some gardening tools. So we need wood and a cart and some seeds and some vegetables and some tools. Um,
Common herbs, perhaps.
oh, that'll be with the seeds and such.
Okay.
I get that you're wanting to establish a garden out there, so we'll provide you with what you need for that.
Ironically, this is a bit of a mistake of intent, but I'm gonna have to feed myself, so yes, it'll work. It'll be good.
Yes, okay. Is there anything else, Star? I don't think so. Here. And she reaches into her pouch and she pulls out, or into her bag, and she pulls out a purse and hands it to him. Says, I think this should be sufficient. Oh, yes, this will be sufficient, yes.
How big does the purse look like? Like, just estimating from the outside looking in, if it's all coin.
It's all coin. You don't know if it's platinum or gold inside.
But given the size,
Um,
if it was platinum and
it's a
given the value of what I'm wearing,
fairly healthy size pouch.
yeah, I figured. Okay. Just trying to kind of get an estimation of what she paid for this.
Um, give me a perception check. Because you've handled large sums of money in the past.
I know money.
Yep. Okay. You know that it was somewhere between 1,000 and 2,000 gold that she handed over.
In gold or in platinum?
That you're not sure. But the bag looks about the right size for 1,000 to 2,000 gold.
Got it. Drug dealer's dime bag kind of estimation style.
Yeah. You call it 1,500.
Yeah. All right. Well, is this part of the deal? I hand him the. It's not unrecoverable. It's
Oh,
just not
if you want to,
enchanted.
the way you spoke of it, if it has sentimental value to you, you may keep it. Otherwise, I'll owe still a little more change.
Um,
It's up to
yeah,
you.
I, you can take it. I'm against the very concept of sentimentality, especially now.
Very well. I will um, talk to a man I trade with when he comes into town next, and give Stow a credit of an appropriate amount.
Excellent. Well, I am but a mere hireling, I say as I come up to my patron,
Matron.
matron.
Yeah. All right. Well, then I guess we shall be off. Um, good luck with your spikes, and we'll see you another time at this.
Nice to meet you.
All right. It was nice to meet you as well, and I hope that you enjoy your time here in Riverton.
I'm impressed you brought out the good stuff right away. I shall remember that.
Well, considering the customer,
Ah,
I think it only wisest to bring out the best.
I see. So as we walk off, then I turn to her and I say, "So you've been making an impression?"
Well, I did say that I don't stay at the manor all the time, and I have got to know the people. You know, a lady can go out in the evening into town as long as she's home at an appropriate hour.
And she can kill anyone who tries to accost her. Have
Well,
you
I have
had any of those kinds of issues in this town?
I have other ways of handling ne'er do wells than just killing them. Or violence. Violence, like you said, is not always the answer.
I'm sure you can very easily evade them, but have you had many problems with this town? What's the nature of the town
Oh,
folk?
the,
He
the,
seems to be nice enough.
the townfolk here are very rural. They're, unless super drunk, they're very nice people. But occasionally you get that one guy who gets a little too drunk and pushes it a little too far.
There's always that guy.
And then you just have to deal with them. But
Have you spent much time at the nightlife establishments here?
I've watched a few plays, attended a few concerts. I walked through the gambling hall. It wasn't of much interest to me, and like I said, the inn I have pretty much avoided.
Because it's the drunkards that can give you trouble.
Yes, and if you don't want trouble, then you don't go seeking trouble.
Oh, but you do.
Well, certain trouble I don't mind seeking.
So you're not as concerned about cleansing the town of the people who,
No,
with or without lycanthropy.
no.
I see.
If I really have a need for that, there are people in towns far away that I go to, and I tend to it there.
Sometimes you do get a hankering for raw justice, eh?
It's not very often, but occasionally.
Well motivated violence is the best kind. Uh, so is that your only objective for this evening, or
Yes, that was all I had planned for tonight. Go ahead and equip your armor in your inventory and unequip the other one. Um, I'll make sure it sets your DC correctly.
do I need to? Oh, I can't until it's attuned. But okay, glamour.
Oh, you've been wearing the periapt long enough that you can attune to it as well.
Well, how do I attune to it?
You should be able to right click and then attune to item. Yep. And then right click on the glamored armor and you should be able to equip it. And then right click on the leather and unequip.
Wow, lets you equip both. That's a trip.
Yeah. Okay, I did that right.
Now, this glamored studded leather, Okay, I still get a +1 bonus, so it's +1 plus the glamour. Got you.
Yep.
You also use a bonus action to speak the armor's command word. So I'm looking down and I say to her, I feel spoiled already. Thank you, Mother.
Well, don't expect much more, because you shouldn't need a whole lot more.
Well, hopefully, I would like to think that my actions can give you a return on your investment.
Well, time will tell.
The
So far, I'm not disappointed. The way you handled the were rabbits was honorable, and I appreciate that. So I'm not unhappy so far.
the attachment I had to vegetables earlier was as a bargaining chip with something that I thought might respond positively to an offering of peace and friendship. I was thinking that such an offering would be best vegetables if we were dealing with rabbiteers, but I obviously didn't find anything that would be of too great a use. Nevertheless, as I said, I will be needing to feed myself, so yes, it's a good idea to collect some.
Yeah.
And if mostly what I have at home is boar meat, which will last me for a while, uh, yes, fleshing it out with some vegetables would be good for my digestion. Do you actually have to drink blood? Is
Not
it a
very
requirement?
often, but yes, occasionally I. My god took away most of the need to eat, but he couldn't remove all of it.
If I was to
So,
have been a gentleman, should I have collected the boars?
oh god, no.
It has to be
Human,
human.
yes. Animal is so vile. It's sure you can do it, but ew. It tastes horrible. It
It's
digests
like
horrible. It's awful.
it's like
So,
horse milk, right?
that's not milk. Anyway,
You get my point.
yes. So, with that said, and
should
the
I
it's
should I
like,
drop this leather here? Like,
oh
it,
yes, just put it by the bushes.
how do I discard?
Oh, are you actually trying to get it out of your inventory?
Yeah, okay, there we go.
Yeah, you have to just
You're the one who has control over add and subtract.
okay,
Got it.
delete. There it went. Since you're not keeping it. Um, all right. Well, I guess we should probably go home and check on your boar.
Do you have a moment to step in the uh, the theater?
Oh, if you wish.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just want to observe.
All right. Um, you guys walk over to here, and you look through the door. Um, give me a perception check.
All right. It's not under checks, it's under skills again. Okay, so perception. There we go. And rolling.
All right. You see some figures up on the stage. They are pretending to sword fight. Um, and you can hear some voices speaking but that's about all you see.
Uh, is anything locked or is it open? Can you
No,
walk
you guys
in?
open the door. You're standing in the doorway, and this is what you see.
Okay.
Standing in the doorway.
Um, I will walk down a few steps, and what am I? So this is one of those immediately you're in the theater kind of deals. There's no
Yeah, when you open,
ticket purchase booths
no,
or anything like
you
that.
open the doors and you see rows of seating in front of you immediately. There's a wooden floor. Um, it's not dirt. Um, you see two rows, about probably 30 benches deep on each side. So
Okay.
it's a decent sized hall. There are lamps on the walls that are burning low, and there are a few chandeliers up above the benches. Those are not lit at the moment. You assume that those are lit when they are actually bringing people in to seat them so they can see better or whatever. Um, the stage is fairly well lit with lanterns at the foot of the stage, or at the front of the stage. Sorry, not the foot, but the front. Um, there is the big red curtain that has been parted, and you can see some of it hanging still. Um, what else do you see? Aside from the two people who are pretending to sword fight and the guy sitting in the very front bench watching them, there's not much more of note.
Has he taken note of us coming in?
No, he is too. Well, yeah, he's too focused
Mm-hmm.
on these guys. You heard him yelling earlier. Um, you can almost kind of maybe deduce that the rehearsal's not going super well, and he's like zoned in trying to figure out what these guys are doing.
Okay. I would like to basically sit in the back row,
Okay.
put my feet up for a moment.
Are you doing this stealthily or just
Nope,
casually?
just casually
Okay.
and just kind of stretch out a little bit and mention to Stella, I'm so fascinated by the fact that they have a theater. I've got to watch this for a while.
Why do you find that so fascinating? I mean, theater
This
is one of those
is,
things that transcends humanity. It's something that everyone loves to tell a story.
but not everybody has the time to enjoy it. I absolutely adore these sorts of places.
How can you
And
have the time if you don't make the time?
might I make a little time?
Oh, no, absolutely. I'm just saying that people can make the time to do this and to
Many
enjoy
times
it.
rural areas don't have such theaters because they're so busy working. It's usually, well, it's good to see there's some art here.
This community works together um, remarkably well. And it does
It's
seem that they
stated
are.
by the fact that they have this, yes.
Yes, and I think that's part of why they have this, is because they don't spend all their time laboring at their own objectives. They work together as a community, and they play together as a community. It really is a nice little town. I would like to stay here for a little while at least, because it's pretty safe. It's pretty chill.
All right. I am going to, as we're having this hushed discussion, watch their 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 dilemma, their battle, their acting, and I'm just kind of taking mental notes about the director and these particular actors. Are they? I'm gonna drive you nuts, but like, what kind of biographic are we talking about here?
Um,
Are they really young, middle aged, older age? Like they can get out of the fields and they don't have to care about it, or
one is an elf who elves always look young. So you've no freaking clue how old
the
this one is.
very fact that an elf is there is noteworthy as hell. Yes.
The
Okay.
other one is a human. He
All
looks
right.
to be mid-20s. Um, the elf has long blonde hair and pointed ears that kind of curl upwards and a very lithe build. He is um, graceful, yet somehow clumsy with the sword. Like his motions look,
We're talking about the elf here.
yes, for some reason, in his trying to not hurt the other actor, his motions are just rigid and awkward and exaggerated. Um, you don't know if watching this if he would be a master swordsman or not, but from the look of this, you would have to go, he's never held a sword in his life. The youth, or the younger gent, the middle age, mid 20s guy, he has brown hair, uh, kind of a stocky, muscular build. Um, and he definitely appears to have no comfort with this sword. Um, he looks afraid of it. And that could be why the director suddenly stands up and goes, "Oh, why can't you guys just fight naturally? You look like two women who are swinging wet noodles at each other, and you just look so damned awkward, and you're not selling this at all. And I need you to try to make this look like you're really fighting. You're not going to hurt one another. They're dull. The worst you're going to get is a bruise. So come on, you two."
Are the swords made of actual metal? Are they clanging about,
Yes,
or are they maybe
yes, they are real metal.
okay?
But as you just said, they're
No, I get it.
blunted. They're dull.
Yep.
They've got square edges. So yes, that maybe part of the problem is that they're heavier than they should be. And you see the two actors just kind of they stop and they look at him, and yeah, they just see him. They don't see you sitting in the background because you're not moving. You're all the way back in the back. The lights are low.
hmm
Um, Maybe the elf can actually see you. The human
If he
may not
does
be
see
able
me
to.
and his gaze matches mine, I'm just gonna nod and give him a wry smile.
He seems to be focused on the director, and the director just says, "Ah, screw it. Let's just call it for tonight. We don't need to.
What
Maybe you
is
guys will be better tomorrow when you're rested."
what's the description of the director?
Um, he is a kind of short, balding, fat man, about late 40s, early 50s. Um, you can tell that because of the is there enough light for you to see that there's gray hairs?
Well, on the stage, I would imagine there's
Yeah,
more
but he's in
light.
front of the stage. But yeah, he's in that bright lit area. Even though they're kind of
He said he was balding anyway, so I
yeah.
mean, yeah.
So yeah. Um, but that's about all you can see from them. They all look to be dressed not fancy, but not like slovenly either. It's a casual attire that looks decent.
I stand and I say, "Good sir, director, what is your name?"
Oh shit, I lost his voice. My name is Ringgold. Who the fuck are you?
Just a actor from out of town and more. I couldn't help but notice that the blades, as dull as they may be, might be a little bit heavy. Aside from the ability to maybe give a few tips in regards to just the blocking of this scene, I don't want to step on your feet. But is there to be any music during this scene?
No,
Or,
no music. This is just a fight scene. In
hmm,
fact, this whole production does not have music. I don't like music in my productions.
hmm.
I let the band play, while people are sitting down, provide a little ambiance then. But yeah, no, I don't let them just play music while we're fighting. I want the
Hmm.
words to be heard and the actions to be seen. And I don't want people focusing on the music.
No, I can understand that. You want to make sure that the focus is on what's taking place in the activity. But if the activity is awkward and something that they're struggling to do and come across as believable, sometimes a little music can take the edge off of the inability to suspend disbelief, and also nothing helps blocking quite like a little bit of pacing that music can provide. Might I just show you an example? This is not to be construed as me trying to take over anything.
Oh, that's kind of what it looks like, though.
Yeah, yes,
Yeah.
I understand. But
So
these are tips
no,
from perhaps a larger
I
stage.
think maybe what these guys need is just to go take a break, and we'll pick this up again tomorrow. And maybe when they're more rested,
I'm looking at them. What
it'll
do
do
they
better.
look like emotionally?
They look tired. Like they've been swinging these big heavy swords for a while, and they're tired.
Do either of them have any kind of reaction to me speaking to the director, or
Um, you see the young human kind of rolling his eyes when the director's talking. Um, Give me an insight check. You've seen that look on people who recognize that you're talking to someone who's not going to change, who thinks they know best. And really, they're clueless. But what are you going to do? So, yeah, you guys just go take a break. We'll take up rehearsal again tomorrow. And maybe we'll just break out wooden swords for you guys. Won't have the clanging sound, but it'll be easier on your arms. And then we can have a more fluid fight. And thank you for your input. But
you haven't even heard any input?
oh, I've heard enough.
Oh, in other words, no input is desired.
Pretty much, yes. Thank you. I appreciate you just picking up on that right off the bat.
Do you make money at this?
Um, a little bit, but most of the money goes to the actors.
So it's just a matter of pride to you. How long have you been acting?
Uh, I haven't really acted ever. I've just wrote the plays. And then
Hmm.
I direct the actors to do what I want them to do as I envisioned it in my play.
Did you write the play?
I did write the play, yes.
Hmm. Do you have a copy of the manuscript?
Why?
Because I'm a playwright myself, and I'm actually fascinated by the work that you've done.
Why don't you just come watch the play when we put it on after the fair?
I most definitely will. I have always found that if I read it beforehand, I can gain a little bit of insight into how it was performed
But
versus quite how it was written. As you, I'm sure, understand, it's obviously going to differ a
yes,
little bit between what you have in mind and what they show. And if you can get more what you have in mind to be what they present, um, I'm sure that would be a desire to you as an author of a play. I know this personally for being a playwright myself. It's very, very difficult to get the actors to do exactly what you want them to do,
oh,
isn't
but
it?
what I find happens when I lend out my manuscripts is people go, "Oh, well, you wrote this, but then they did that, and you broke from what was supposed to happen." It's like,
Right?
and they don't
Yes.
recognize improvisation and the ability to maybe make it better than it could have been. The
You would want
manuscript is
them
more
to?
of a, I'm fine with it so long as it's done well. That's all I require is just make my vision good. Don't make it shit.
But then how often do you try to? And I could refer to one of the actors, or both of them at this point. How often do you try to improvise and find that the improvisation went entirely against the vision of the author?
Well, you see, it happens quite a bit that we try to improvise, and then we get told not to improvise because we're deviating from the vision. And it's really annoying, honestly. But
Well,
maybe
I
it's
mean, I,
just
I can
my
understand from the
being
perspective of an author,
tired.
you want to be able to see what you had in mind come out, just like
But sometimes the things that he wants to see happen are just like so whack that it's like, really?
well, give me an example.
Oh, I can't right now. I'm so tired.
I'm sure.
I've been swinging. This sword has got to weigh like 8 fucking pounds, man. And we've been swinging it for the last 2 hours.
Aha, 8 pounds. That
I
is a
mean,
that
I
is a heavy
I
sword.
plowed a field this morning, and now I'm swinging this damn sword. I just want to go home.
Are are you using rapiers, sir, or are you using actual just blunted broadswords?
Well, actual blunted broadswords. I want the sound to be accurate.
Ooh, yes, but then you're willing to lose that to get the wood instead so that they look better, right?
Look, sometimes you gotta make a compromise.
Yeah, well, that's why usually I find that the rapier is the best stage weapon for that reason,
Oh,
because you get
okay,
both the
but
shininess and
have
the
you
light
ever
weight.
seen a young man who's never held a sword in his life accidentally poke out someone's eye with a rapier? I have, and it was not pleasant. And I almost got my ass handed to me, and I had to pay that gentleman a lot of money for his lost eye.
Yeah, that's
And then you know what I
because,
found out? He went to a healer and had his eye fucking fixed for less than a quarter of what I had to pay him.
oh,
So he got to keep 3/4 of my gold and got his eyeball back. That's why I don't use real weapons.
well, the fact that he got it back, that's the real nightmare. Uh, the interesting part is that if one was more trained in the art of actual stage battle as opposed to trying to make a real battle take place on stage that isn't actually real, there is a difference. You'll get more of what I'm sure you're looking for, and
Oh,
they're not going to then tomorrow be unable to lift more bales of hay. Can I show you just a few basic techniques? I think you'll like what I have to show you.
I,
If you
I,
don't
I,
like it,
I tell
reject
you
it.
what, you come back tomorrow night and you can just run this fucking show.
I don't want to run the show.
Okay, well then,
I mean,
all right,
I'm not here to
come
take
back
over.
tomorrow and I'll let you try to teach these two how to swing a sword and play combat.
And if you're happy with the results,
Then I'll
use
say
them.
thank you.
And if not, then don't
Then I'll
use
tell
them.
you to fuck off.
Exactly.
Okay,
I'm
fine.
perfectly happy with
Well,
it.
okay. So yeah, come back tomorrow evening.
Mhm. And I
And
look at Stella. I say, "Is that arrangement
I don't
doable?"
care. What, if that's what you want to do with your evening,
Well, I
sure.
mean,
I don't have any plans
I
right now, so I don't
serve
care.
at your desire. Okay, very well. Uh,
It's fine. I just find this
Excellent,
whole thing
Ringgold.
amusing. Watching
Well
gentlemen
met.
fight with each other like little bitches. It's funny.
You're the
I,
little bitch in the room.
I just find it amusing. That's all. Some people. Anyways, yes, I don't care. If you want to come here tomorrow, that's fine.
And you gentlemen don't mind perhaps learning how to make this look good without it being so difficult, right?
They both shake their heads and go, yeah, that'd be fine.
Yeah, and you in particular. I'm surprised that this is tough on you. I would imagine that the size of the broadsword is not exactly what you're used to.
Well, you
I
see,
say to the elf.
I I am more of a caster than I am a weapon wielder. And
Oh,
using steel is not something that I enjoy doing. It's not something
uh-huh.
that I have tried to make myself proficient in. And therefore, this is just awkward. But I
And
memorized all of the lines very well, and I have passion in the lines, and that is why I must wield this sword.
you've already answered my question then.
Yes.
Excellent. I'll want to have more of a discussion with you about that. Are there many like you in this small village of
No,
hidden
there's
Easter egg gems?
no, not really. There's one or two more of us besides my family, but no, mostly humans and dwarves here.
Huh, fascinating. Well, it's fun to have you here. Uh, and Ringgold,
Yes,
if I could
what is
read
your
your
name
manuscript.
anyways?
Oh, yes, yes. My,
Stella I
my
know, but you.
My name is Maximus Pride, and
Hmm,
I dabble
interesting.
in I dabble in the theatrical arts more than anything.
Is that a stage name or did your parents really name you that?
You'd think it was a stage name,
Yes.
but it's
The
not
the
actually.
so the name actually fit in this instance. Interesting. That doesn't happen a whole lot when you're naming a kid. I've always
Uh,
felt you should wait until they're 20 before you. Anyways.
it's my family. If you knew the Prides, you know how it comes about. It's a strange heritage. Uh, I'd like to get to know you better, and especially starting with your manuscript. And as much as I would like to see it on stage, I would like to simply take part in the genius that you put on paper. Would you be so kind as to share? Maybe I can fill in as a step-in actor if somebody falls out at the last moment.
Fine. And he goes and he picks up a manuscript and he brings it to you and he shoves it into your hands and says, all right, there. Are you happy now? I will see you tomorrow. Good night, sir.
Yes, this gives me something to think about between now and then. Well met. Thank you, Ringgold. And I shake his hand very vigorously.
Yeah,
You're an awesome sir.
you can feel him trying to pull away,
Yes, and I kind of
enthusiastically attempting
keep
to
hold of it. Yes.
move back because for some reason he just doesn't like you.
Oh yeah, no, no, I understand. I've challenged his ego for one thing,
Yes.
and I mean to challenge the ever loving hell out of it, and he knows it, and that's fine. Um, so at this point, I just kind of bow and thank you very much. I appreciate the open door policy. And come.
All right. Well, that was amusing. Probably better than the play. Anyways,
Most
shall we?
likely, as I flip through.
Um, Stella and you walk out of town.
You don't have anything else to achieve here. Let me just ask a few basic questions about the big buildings I can see. This one off in the distance?
Oh, that's a church.
It looked like it might be. So, DM the
Um,
player
the
of.
the druids hang out there. Um,
Interesting. Biggest church in
did I
town
not
is
tell
the
you the
druids.
name of the druid person there?
No.
Oh, that would be Lezith.
Lezith?
Lezith.
Okay.
She's a female elf. One of the ones that the young gentleman up there was speaking of. And off the top of my head, I forget which god she worshipped.
Fair
Probably one of the
enough.
nature ones. Maybe it was Oban or something like that. I just can't remember.
Would that be OHBAN or something? I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
We could go talk to her one of these evenings and we arrive in her town earlier and you can get to know her more.
Just kind of getting an idea of the
You
various buildings. And
probably
this
won't have as
one,
much fun challenging her ego though.
this one down here.
That just looks like a. Uh, what is that? I don't actually have anything
It's
designated for that.
clearly the river dock, and so therefore it would be
Um,
the shipping.
yeah, maybe there's a stable there as well as. Yeah, they receive boats from up above with goods for trade.
Is there a miller, someone who cuts the wood?
Sure, one of the buildings up to the north. And the windmill is also where they grind the flour. Up to the northeast, there's a windmill.
Is this a noteworthy building here up on the hill that I can see?
Noteworthy
Or
building.
is it even visible from where we are?
From where you are, you probably couldn't see that one.
Okay, so it's not quite as up on the hill as it looks like it could be,
Yeah.
like if it was over here. Okay,
Yeah, this area is pretty flat.
got it. Where's the inn that she was talking about?
You're actually sitting on it.
This one or this one?
Sorry, 7 is the inn, 9 is the gambling hall.
That's what I thought. Okay.
Yeah, sorry.
Right. And that the inn was don't stay out. Got it. Um, no, she likes to avoid that. That's great. Is this like a little like clock tower over here or something?
I think someone just got fancy with their house and made a little parapet.
So this is not like a governmental building or anything of that nature.
No.
If there's a
No.
seat of government in this town,
Oh,
who sits in it?
okay, so the most of the government buildings are up to the north, near the square up there, and that
I
is
see.
where the mayor lives and where the sheriff lives, and that's pretty much the extent of the government here.
Are you familiar with who they are?
Yes, I remember the name. I have to check my notes because this is actually going to come up later, so I can't get this wrong. Blacknocht is the sheriff of this town.
Spell that for me, please.
Black and then Nacht.
All one word.
Yep.
Did you say he was the sheriff or the mayor?
He is the sheriff. And the mayor is Mr. Avery is the mayor.
Avery?
Yep.
Okay. This pond, is this for bathing, swimming, fishing?
Oh, I
All of the
believe
above, or is
yes,
it
I have seen people casting a rod out as well as swimming in there on the hotter days. It's just a communal area.
okay?
People
And
sometimes picnic
obvious
next to it. And then there's the river, of course. They
they
picnic
have
next
a
to that. Yes, our
community well there.
fancy little community well.
Do you know of any unsavory elements and where they might?
Like I said, this town actually is surprisingly pleasant, and aside from when they're drunk, I haven't really found like a seedy criminal underbelly or anything.
That's what I
So,
was curious.
no,
Yes, if there's
it's
some kind of organized crime afoot here.
I I always assume that wherever there's a casino, there is a mob element, but they're very covert if there is one.
Might be out of that. Yeah, I'm interested in this elf. He may have some interesting parents. Okay. Well, if your agenda is clear here, I think that I might wish to go ahead and get home and use the rest of my time awake in this evening to try to adapt to our new, mostly nocturnal schedule, but also I'd really like to see how much of this I can memorize.
Okay. Let's head out of town. And then do you want to walk all the way home or do you just want to get home?
Um, that sounded like the same question.
Okay, take my arm. You guys have reached the out of town. You're in the trees. Do you take her arm?
Of course.
Okay. She uses her teleport ability,
Ah,
and you are suddenly back at the mansion or manor, whatever. Okay, well, here we
that's
are.
useful.
You should probably go check on your critter.
Oh, the pig. Right.
Yep.
Yes.
Um,
Yeah. Hungry.
yep. I'm gonna just amuse myself for a minute.
Very well. Amuse herself. My imagination starts wandering as
Okay.
to all the things she might mean by that.
Have you gone in to check on your piggy? He's
Yes, I'll step in and make
smoking
sure
over in
that
the
the
corner.
smoker is going well and that the meat is coming along nicely.
Go ahead and give me a perception check.
Okay.
Okay. As you are deeply involved in checking on the meat, you are unaware
I guess
of
I might
these.
be able to hear me. Let's hear.
You get smashed by a fist, but the fist misses you.
Even though I was unaware of it coming.
Yep.
Okay.
Actually, I guess I should have rolled that with advantage. But we'll save for this. It's fine. Go ahead and roll for initiative.
Yeah, I'm going to be spinning. Whoa! And so how do I do that again?
Go to the fist and
Uh
then
huh.
click on the die.
Right, there we go.
All right. Oh,
Ouch.
fudge. Oh well. It is fine. So the animated, you spin around and you see this suit of armor standing there. and it is going to throw another punch at you. And then one more. And it whiffs it. It throws a punch and you duck, and it throws an uppercut. You move to the side. And now it is your turn.
I shout out, "Is this one of your guardians? Should I take it out or?"
Oh, I want to see if my investment, as you so put it, has been well placed. Let's see what you can do.
Oh, I see. She's standing over here.
Yep, she's
All
watching
right.
you.
Yeah. Oh, I get it. All right. So then I lunge forward and try to plunge my blade through the center of his animated armor, because I feel that if I tried to do what I would normally do, which is avoid the armor, then maybe I'll hit nothing and he'll just stay animated. So I'm actually going for the armor itself.
Okay.
So again, damn it, how do I do this? Okay, wait, I just have to click on the rapier, right? There we
Yep.
go. Oh, but I gotta target him, and again, that's what,
T.
control click or T.
Yep, hover over in T. Yep, there you go.
Okay. I am no longer MT. I am T. Okay. And we're gonna go with the crystal rapier. Let's.
You swing at it, and it kind of sucks its stomach in, and you miss.
All right. Well, I'm on my feet now. Aware of it.
Yep.
So
And
next, do I have to roll again, or do I?
Click on the next turn.
Okay, like that. There
Yep.
we go.
And then it'll roll automatically, and it's still your turn.
Okay. I don't like being backed into a corner, so I'm going to sidestep if I can and go for its knee to try and maybe collapse it.
All right.
I'll get better at this very quickly, I assure you. Okay.
Yeah, it's no worries.
There we go.
All right, that hit it. And your armor does, or your rapier does go into its knee, and it falls to one knee, and it just kind of looks up at you, and you can imagine if it had a face, it'd be scowling right now.
Yeah, because I'm like tearing the kneecap off basically as I.
Yep.
Yeah. As I angle it and pull out. I probably don't have anything else much that I can do at this point. So let's get him away from the meat and me away from the meat. Don't want to spoil all that in the midst of combat.
All right. That's the end of your turn. Click the little next turn
arrow. Do I click end turn or? Okay, there we go.
Okay. And he is quite unhappy with you, and he is going to make 2 more slam attacks. Because that's all he's got. All right.
So this comes up. I'm hit by slam and can use a reaction attack. Roll total 18.
It should give you a list of options.
Does it only bring this up if it would actually work?
No, it will actually bring up things that make no sense to do.
So I gotta actually like think about the math involved.
Yes.
And I can only do this
once a turn.
Once a turn, right? Okay, so that kind of attack, though, that's I don't even have an idea of what like my AC is right now. Let me.
Your AC is 17.
So if I did use it, then that attack roll of 18 down by 2, I'd avoid being hit entirely.
You would have, yes.
Okay. Well, I was trying to figure that out before moving on, and it kind of moved on. So
your defensive duelist. Okay.
Uh-huh.
All right. Do you want to use that then?
Well, yeah, now that I've kind of done the math and seen that it would make sense to do it, then I'm going to do it, of course.
Okay. You are back to full health then, as
Okay.
he looked like he was going to hit you,
That was
and then
close.
failed to. And then his next fist comes swinging at you,
That one's not so avoidable, and I've already used it, so
and you've already used it, so yeah.
yeah.
But you did avoid damage one time, and that is
Yep.
the end of his turn,
Wow.
as he punches you in the face.
For how much?
5.
Yeah, all right. Do I click end turn again, or
No, I clicked in turn. You're at the top of the turn now.
I see? Okay, so then I'm going to basically turn around and uppercut into whatever's inside that empty helmet of his, and oh, I better target him.
Nice.
All right,
You
some
slash
damage.
through him. Did you want to regain 4 health by any chance? Just reminding you have that option.
Yeah, I think I'm not used to maybe even considering it yet, so no.
All right. Stella cheers a little bit and goes, "Well, you're not getting your ass kicked yet."
What the hell did you summon?
Oh,
Roll
practice.
total, and I've got a 17 AC, so a dodge here would not help. Okay. All right.
Okay. I hope it misses on this one.
Unlikely.
Nope, he did not miss. And you fall to the ground. And Stella comes over, uses her vampiric heal on you. She shoves the armor away, and then uses her opportunity to do that to you. You have a coppery taste in your mouth. Well, that was kind of expected, but go get him, Tiger. And
it's still on, is it?
It's your turn now.
Okay. How much was I healed?
Full health.
Full health.
Yep.
Okay.
It has a price, but yeah, you're at full health.
All right. Well, I guess I'll charge him and give him my my best duelist jab.
Okay.
T. Well, damn. Slip.
He swings his hand up and knocks the blade out of your hand. And it's laying on the ground beside you.
Okay.
And you hear a chuckle in the armor as it swings its fist at you again.
The armor has a fucking personality. Okay.
All right. That still hit, huh?
The roll was...
That shouldn't have. Undo. Okay. Yep, that shouldn't have hit you. as the Swiss fist swings
Maybe I
by.
was not wielding a finesse weapon since you've knocked it out of my hand. Is that what it was?
No, because I didn't actually tell it. That was just narrative.
Okay.
Maybe your crystal rapier is not a finesse weapon?
Well, it should be.
It's martial. I'll look into that.
Yeah, it might just be set up wrong.
Yeah. And now it's the armor's turn again. So it is going to swing at you 2 more times. Missing and missing. You bend over to pick up your sword and it swings his fists over you because he swung too fast and didn't correct in time. And it's your turn.
Okay, well, since he can laugh, I wonder if he can feel this in his crotch.
Nope.
Clang? Okay.
It seems to have just gone in the air. There was nothing there.
I laugh in return.
It just cocks its head at you like, what are you laughing about? Alright, is that the end of your turn?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Well, you get to take another stab at it.
Okay, so at his heart I stabbeth again. Doesn't keep the same targeting. That's annoying.
No, every time the turn, it
Yeah,
untargets.
I get it. Ah, clang.
Wow.
Right
Stella
off the-
pipes up. Is there something wrong with the sword? Is it bent?
No, it's just
God.
thick armor.
And you rolled a nat 20, so.
Yeah, there's not much I can do about that.
Oh. Fuck. And you fall down unconscious again. Stella comes over.
I look back over at Stella. He just whaps me in the side of the head.
She is going to stab the armor. And it falls down dead. And then she picks you up and cradles you in one arm as she bites into her wrist and gives you some blood. And you come back at full health again. Perhaps that was too much of a challenge too early, maybe. You were close. You almost had it down, but...
That's a fascinating elixir.
Yes, like I said, it's efficient, but it will have a penalty at some point. But as we discussed, you said you were okay with it, so...
Oh, no, perfectly fine.
Okay. Do you want to change your mind?
Not sure if I enjoy the skull fracture.
Oh, that...
It's nice that it recovered.
Yeah, you'll be fine in the morning.
The blade is great. That armor was thick, and I am not so good at puncturing it.
Well, maybe I'll get a... Maybe I'll get out the leather next time instead of the chain. Maybe that'll make it a little easier. So...
It'd certainly make it cakeier. And I come back over and I grab the blade off the ground.
Alright.
You're not concerned about the damage it might do to this fascinatingly, incredibly well created device?
If armor breaks that, then it's not very good.
That's a point. As I look real closely, not even a notch.
What if you had to stab a dragon?
I'd probably die.
Well, today, yes, but, 6 months from now, you might be fine. And if you stab the dragon and your sword is shit, it's going to break on the scale. And better to find that out now.
I'll keep that in mind.
Seems like it worked fine when you did hit, so.
I need to watch my footing.
Well.
I get a little overexcited. I
And you
haven't seen
did.
a lot of real battle.
You did have a traumatic night last night, and I made you walk a lot today. Maybe you're more tired than you realize.
Well, that's true. And hungry.
Yes, you should go eat.
Come back over and start
I'm
taking
gonna
some
go
of the
put this
meat off
away.
the floor. It's a fun toy.
She
We'll
picks up
play
her
with it
armor
later.
and she goes and puts it away.
It's
Locks the
nice to
door.
know it wasn't summoned.
Oh no, I don't have that ability. That would be fun though.
Well, that's what you did with the rats, right?
Would you like something else to play with?
Um, if if you're happy to um, continue to work with me this evening, I suppose once I've finished eating.
Yes, okay. After you eat then. Or maybe you should just take a rest tonight and we'll continue in the morning. Evening. Whatever.
It was vigorous.
Yes.
Fair enough. Tomorrow it is.
Alright, that sounds good.
So, I guess I kind of load up a plate, go and grab some water,
Okay.
and say, I kind of enjoy this being brought back. It allows the violence to be a little more severe than any kind of training I've previously experienced. As in, it's real.
See, I worry that it takes away a little bit of the risk factor, though, because you know I can just bring you right back.
I'm sure it does. But again, had that been an actual battlefield, I'm pretty aware that I would be dead right now. And I'm not happy about that. So, yes,
Okay.
I've made myself a new enemy, I say as I consider this armor.
Well, at least it's an enemy that you know. Now.
Yeah. Good trainer. What's his name, by the way?
Oh, I didn't actually name him. What would you like to name him?
Um, he seems like a tin can, so
Tinny or Canny?
yeah, I can. That's his name. I can.
Icon? Okay. We will name him Icon.
Because of course he's preparing us to fight.
That's fair. Makes sense.
Lycans.
Okay.
Maybe that should be his name. Lycan. He's a lie in a can. We'll go with Icon.
Lycan. Okay. Very well. Um,
So, yeah, I'm just coming over here and I'm devouring this food.
alright. She comes in and sits down on a stool, watches you eat. Doesn't interrupt you.
I'm watching in return, just watching in return. Is there anything I'm sure I find it a little bit unnerving that she's sitting there just watching me eat. That's not normal human behavior because humans eat together. And I'm like, there's no blood in a bowl somewhere?
No, that
Nothing
would
for
just
drinking?
coagulate and go solid. I mean, when you cut yourself, what happens? It scabs over. Can you imagine eating a scab?
Do you
That's gross.
mix it with wine? Do you bottle
Mm,
it? How do you store it? Do you just
I
take it live off the vine, so to speak?
I have to eat so rarely that I just take it fresh off the vine, as you said.
Yeah, I would think that you would bottle it and have
No,
different years.
I mean
This was a good year for
it's usually a
this.
couple of decades between feedings. Um,
Oh, all the more.
yeah, and I don't think the year really matters. It's more the individual.
Who do you usually go after?
On very rare occasion, there will be people who are desperately seeking death, and I'll take the time to get to know them and determine if I can help them and in what manner I will help them. And not very often I do it that way, but occasionally.
Angel of Mercy style. So what? Most of your human victims are old, sick.
Some of them are, and some of them are the most vile, evil, wickedest creatures you could ever hear a tale of.
Which do you prefer?
I would prefer neither, honestly. I feel less guilty when it is an old person who I'm helping. I feel that that's more in my nature because I do try to help people. I try to, when I can, I heal. You know, that's what I was training to do. So, in a way, I feel better about that circumstance.
Player to DM, how am I feeling after 2 recoveries like that?
You haven't noticed any side effects yet.
Do I
You don't feel any different, no.
remember the pain of the
Oh yeah.
injuries, or
Oh yeah.
do I
I mean,
still feel them? I mean, do I?
your wounds have healed as if you had a healing spell applied to you. So it's not like you have broken bones still. You feel like you should feel them still.
Was it
So maybe you have phantom pain,
I
but
get
you
it.
shouldn't be experiencing any pain.
All right. And in those injured places or previously injured places, there's no lingering
Bruising, no.
tingling or anything like that.
Mm-mm.
So I say to her, you mentioned a price or side effects.
Well, yes. I mean, if you get too close to me, and you
In other
stay,
words, this happens too regularly, or
this is why I quit hanging out with people. Because if you spend too much time with me and develop some sort of a bond,
blood bond.
like an emotional bond, you'll take on some of my qualities. But you won't have my undeath and you won't have my immortality. And my feeding you my blood to bring you back to life will cause the same thing, just faster. Where you may gain a hunger for something that's unnatural. And there won't be a god to step in and help you with that. You may suddenly want to, when you kill somebody, you may want to rip out their spine and drink the spinal fluid. I don't know. I saw that once. Your appearance is going to alter. You'll become more pale. Your eyes may become more red or more bloodshot. You won't have to breathe air anymore. But you'll still be alive.
I'll want to eat boar less and people more.
You'll still eat
veggies
food.
Less and boar more.
No, you'll still enjoy boar, but you might enjoy people too. And it's something that you may be able to gain control over. I unfortunately never saw anyone live long enough to gain control over it, so I don't know.
What do you mean?
Well, like I said, you're not immortal.
Oh, age.
Yes.
And it doesn't extend the age of a life.
No.
You've never considered a full transition?
I would never do this to somebody else. Not intentionally, no. I had a companion a millennia ago. Well, more like a millennia and a half. Anyway, he made it a habit of creating spawn for protection. And I found even spawn to be so abhorrent that after conversation I had to leave him.
So you call new transitions spawn?
If I
Are
was
they not
to...
as strong?
No, they're not as strong. And they're not... They're less, human. They don't have all of their faculties, yes.
Is that something that changes over time once you adapt to becoming one, or?
The only way that I know a spawn becomes a new fledgling is if the master dies.
So you're a slave.
Yes.
Until that takes place. But what makes it then that the first of your kind I suppose one can have many and then he dies and all the others, right?
Yes.
It's
not hard to create spawn either. You just drain someone's blood and bury them in the ground. The next night they wake up.
Is there any historical research among your kind to try and identify where this all began?
The only thing that's known is it's a curse.
It's an effect.
Well, it was a curse from a god. I don't know the exact particulars of why the curse was imparted, just like lycanthropy is a curse from a god. Someone fucked up, and this was the punishment. I mean, when you think about it, if you make a mistake, and you make someone immortal, so they have to dwell in that for all of eternity, it's a pretty big curse.
A divine curse, I see. You seem to be the most cursed of your kind.
I don't know.
You have the ability to care about the consequences to those beyond you.
Well, how's that a curse?
Well, it would seem to be much more free, I would think, to not be concerned about such things. As it seems the legends suggest most aren't.
Yes, most people just view you as cattle. You're food.
So, in essence, you wear a yoke your brethren don't.
No, I don't really see it that way.
Well, that's good that you don't.
I see it as a way for me to continue with the purpose that I had set myself on as a child. And I get to do this for forever. Or until something kills me.
Can you imagine a day and age somewhere down the way when you've completed your goal?
No. Because vampires and werewolves and were-rats and all these evil creatures, they are always making more of each other. I don't foresee the world ever being rid of them.
But perhaps you can leave it with a whole lot less.
Yes, that's my hope. But of course, if I die, then there'll always be heroes, though, who can take care of the problem. It's not like I'm special in that regard. Anyone can run a blade through a lichen.
Now, being truly immortal, you have lifetimes of humans upon which to hunt them down.
But am I truly immortal when I can be killed?
As long as you're not killed, eh?
Right. I don't grow old. But I'm not immortal.
Interesting. Well, sorry to grill you as I did again last night.
I would be slightly concerned if you just wholeheartedly accepted me without knowing a little bit about me. I mean...
Well, there's curiosities to answer, but we don't have to answer them all in one day.
Especially considering the circumstance of how we met. It's pretty suspect. So, asking questions, I would expect that.
That you would call it suspect makes it more so?
I'm just calling a spade a spade.
So, as I'm kind of finishing up, I guess I kind of wash up what I can.
Okay.
And what is she doing during that? Is she just continuing to sit there watching me?
Yeah. I rolled an insight check to see if she realized she was making you uncomfortable. She failed. So.
I don't know that she's making me feel uncomfortable. so much as I'm sitting here wondering what a lifetime of being the only ant in an ant farm with an immortal and raptly interested child will actually be like. I am kind of wondering if at some point what her curiosities are about me will be answered. So I guess, much as I would like to take some time to return to my study and devour this, I'm sure, absolutely terrible manuscript, uh, I do turn and I ask her, is I have to wonder, when you look at me from your perspective, you mustn't see the standard or normal person. I'm certain that I inspire curiosity and questions myself, perhaps not of the kind of nature that one might ask of a divinely cursed immortal being that is in and of itself extremely interesting to someone as mortal as I. But in all of your years, I would be willing to wager you've never met anyone who thinks quite as I do. What's on your mind that I might be able to help?
I guess I just don't understand why you would be willing to take the chance of losing who you are to become something that you're not sure how that's going to turn out. It
I'm
may
not.
turn out you turn into a raving lunatic and I have to kill you.
Maybe I already am.
I haven't seen any indication that you're a lunatic. Headstrong, proud, but not a lunatic. I've also seen that you are manipulative, that you can convince people to do things that are in your interest to do. But again, I don't see that as being anything bad. What you're taking the chance of becoming could be bad, and that is the one thing that I'm intrigued by you, is that you're willing to take that chance.
I have no attachment. And as I struggle to find the words to explain what I don't have attachment to, I find that it sits better if I don't add any further definition to that statement. If you
Okay.
need to understand, I simply feel no attachment at all.
I'm sure we'll find in time that you have an attachment to something. We'll just have to see what it is.
Perhaps that's one of my great quests to discover, is if I do. The part of me that believes that everything would be better if it wasn't. Questions me to see, do I feel bonded to anything that exists to the point that that would be perceived as it seems so many feel a tragedy? Or have I somehow slipped through the cracks and already lost my humanity and my inability to care? I mean, it seems to be what continuously comes up in what I have to express. And I know I'm interested in various things, a wide arrangement of things. Things do interest me. It's not that they don't. Of course they do. And the very paradox of nature is an unending puzzle of fascination. But I can't find within me a single sense of attachment. And if I've ever been curious about anything, it's that. And I've felt that since I don't remember when and I don't remember why. And I think it was bringing that lack of attachment with me into the afterlife that gave me such a sense of disappointment to find you don't really get to let it all go.
Well, why would you? Your spirit is what drives you here, and you take that with you. So you are the
The
same person here
greatest
as you are there.
curse you experience is the curse of never ending existence. And that spirit remembers all of them. In other words, it experiences that curse even deeper than what you do in this life. Does that make sense?
Maybe.
The part of you that someday wishes to say, "Oh, I just wish to rest. Let go of it all. I'm tired. I'm done. I don't feel any more attachment. I don't feel any more need for any of this." If you were to then find out upon your death that that is no death whatsoever, that would be the disturbing truth which I seek to find a way to solve. I seek to find that way because I would prefer to truly let it all go, never to come back to anything.
Hmm.
Until then, I'll master all that is. See what I mean?
I'm not sure that there is a way to destroy your soul, but we can look into that if that's really what you're looking for. Because I think that is what you are asking.
Yeah, but
You're the opposite of a lich.
the question being, can
Hmm.
you do it if there's still an existence exterior to you? I don't think you can.
Oh, I think you would have to destroy your body as well as your soul.
Body, soul,
But
all that. So far as we have found in both of our existences, all of these things are just cycles. I go to sleep. I feel like I'm gone for a while. I then wake up. I die. I feel like I'm gone for a while. I then find myself on the other side of a curtain. In some new everlasting whatever the hell it is, it doesn't matter what I've earned for myself, it's something. A destroyed soul, is that not just part of the ongoing rhythm of
I don't think so.
void and back?
I think that
What do you
without your soul, you wouldn't have any cognizance of existing, whether it be on this side of the curtain or the other.
if someone remembered you?
Mm,
It still exists in someone's mind.
but not your own.
Is that all that's important?
I mean, that means that if you wrote your name in a book, you would be immortal for forever until that book was destroyed.
And
So I think
therefore,
that
the only
is.
way to truly destroy yourself is to truly destroy everything, because in a way, your very existence has rippled out into the very fabric of nature and created.
Mm, I don't think that the memory of you is you.
No, I don't
It's like
think
a
a person.
painting.
I don't
If
think they have to remember you to have been influenced by you.
if we sat down and painted you, you would grow older while the painting remained the same age. You would be forever that age in that painting. But that's not you in the painting. It's just an image. And when you die an old man, that image will still be you, but it's not you.
No, but so far as I can tell, you will still go on existing in some way. Eh,
Maybe.
it's a long winded quest to determine the divine truth of these things, I suppose, and
I
to
would
answer to them.
I would ask, would you like for me to let you fully die next time? Rather than just going unconscious, and maybe you can find an answer.
I have. It's just a door.
Hmm. Okay. Then I won't do that. I'll save my diamonds.
I I would think it's easier on you to recover me without me going so far deep, as you said,
But definitely takes less time.
diamonds. And I don't mean to die without unraveling the secrets of eradication.
Well,
Nah. Anyhow,
maybe it'll come to you in a dream then.
yeah, that's true. Even when asleep and you think you're gone, you're not. Would you care to walk through this nightmare with me together as I pull out the manuscript and place it on the table?
Oh, I don't think so. I'll see it tomorrow when you're instructing them.
Excellent. So
Um,
I start reading it aloud.
all right, she is going to get up and I will leave you to it. I'm gonna go to my quarters. Have a good night.
I'll tell you how much suffering it was.
Well, don't punish yourself too greatly.
It's not me. I
And
punish.
have a good night. And
You as
she
well.
goes to her room.
With that, I do spend the evening sitting there poring over it and actually reading the whole thing.
Okay.
On a scale of 1 to 10 of a discerning quality,
It's
I
about
assume this is somewhat a -3?
no, it's about a 4.
Not bad then.
It has potential.
Hmm.
It's
So
just
there's some actual
there is some
uh,
plot. It's just
plot
loose and
structure.
yeah. It some of the plot they just kind of throw at you, and it's like how'd that happen? But then it's okay because it was all right. But yeah, it's not great
It follows the
for
pattern of a story and
yes for simple people with less refinement. It's acceptable. To
okay,
someone who has read great novels, is rubbish.
okay. Well, if it's even to that level, then what's he really trying to say between the lines? I'm looking for the man's political views.
Um,
What inspired him to write
you're not
this?
going to force me to write this play, are you?
No, I don't want
Okay.
you to write the play, but
Um,
I am curious of the name, kind of the general outline, but again, who am I dealing with in the way he thinks here? Because it's an
you're
expression of his soul. I
dealing
mean,
with a man who feels like he is always being attacked,
uh huh.
and no one gives him the opportunity to be himself. They're always trying to force him to be something he's not. And that's why he's constantly fighting in his plays. Because he doesn't realize that he's standing in his own way. And it's not other people that are fighting him. It's
He's playing victim a lot
yes.
in this. His main character is constantly beaten down,
And you
and
saw
somehow
that
he thinks that that person can maybe inside overcome
yes.
all of
And
this
that's you
victimization.
get kind of why he was becoming so defensive about interacting with you.
Right, and it's in that I'm starting to really look into what would he need from me to be open to, well, I guess I would say
The better
professional level coaching.
the better question is how could you help him without offending him?
Well, exactly. How do I make suggestions to him? How do I get through to him to,
I'm gonna leave that up to you to figure out how
yeah,
you're going to approach this fragile ego without hurting his feelings or insulting his pride.
does he have any kind of like father figure type characters in this play? Anything that maybe suggests
It
what
always comes down
his.
to daddy issues, huh?
Uh,
Um,
yeah, like where's his issues actually stemming from here?
um, you're not sure that the one play is enough to give you that insight, but you can roll an insight roll, and we'll
Yeah,
decide if that gives you enough.
okay, all right. Let's see here. Um,
Yep, it's daddy issues. It appears that he was just never good enough for his dad. And the man was always, no matter what he did, his dad was always, you could have done better. You're such a disappointment. But was that the author's perception? Or was his dad really like that?
doesn't matter. It's the perception that makes the difference.
Okay,
As his character progresses through the character arc, what is it that turns the man into a hero?
He doesn't. He only has the illusion of being a hero because he has all these victories, but he never conquers himself. So, to the outside world, he appears to be a hero, but on the inside, he's always that man struggling.
Hmm. And is that a heroic trait, the way it's presented, or is that a flaw?
Those who know the truth see it as a flaw.
Does he take it to be a heroic trait to himself? Is that what you mean? And yet those
Yes.
characters outside of him can see it still as a flaw.
Yes.
Does he achieve anything in the story worth achieving?
Besides killing a bunch of people, no.
Does he suffer for that?
No. Because they were. It was justified. But it was also petty and avoidable.
He lets the audience go on feeling like main character's a little pathetic still, no matter what he achieves.
Yeah, pretty much.
Outside of trying to memorize this, which I imagine I could do fairly quickly based on who this character is, I will just ponder these elements, and that would take me many hours.
Do you go to your room to ponder them?
I'm sure at some point I end up in my room, yes. Just kind of absent-mindedly walking along and just kind of imagining little fights and things like that as I go.
No, you're not in there.
Is it a mimic?
No, I wouldn't do that to you.
Oh, I'm sure you wouldn't.
No, that is where you can put items that you want to save.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Open it up, open your inventory, drag and drop, and then let me know what I need to delete out of yours. So I think I already put your sword in there.
Okay. Well,
yeah, I put your rapier in there already.
I would have my meat in there at this point, I guess.
Okay.
And I'll just kind of take these as snacks. Probably have eaten some broccoli earlier in the evening. There we go.
We're just gonna call that rations. So you're gonna throw your rations in there, and that is 40 days worth. Okay.
All right. Well, I mean, unless I have anything unusual take place, I will plop down and continue to try to basically memorize every roll.
Okay.
Generally, as he does that, it's a big pacing affair. So for hours on end, he's just pacing back and forth, memorizing every word.
I guess give me a performance check. That seems the most applicable. Yeah, you get it. Before the sun comes up, you feel pretty confident that maybe not word for word, but you can definitely get the gist across.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And probably in a more eloquent way than what was written.
Yeah, there's probably a few points where I'm like, okay, those words didn't make any fucking sense, so I'm just gonna remember it like this.
Yeah.
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 All right. All right. And this issue of the martial interactions,
Yeah. I need to do a
is there
little.
any footnote about that, or is that just pretty much did we determine what the problem was? And that's going to be the case probably in every scene.
No, it is supposed to be a finesse weapon. Yeah, and finesse is marked. So I'm going to assume that it was something that went wrong with the
Yeah,
automation, and I will.
showing 17. Huh.
Yeah. I'll have to play with it and see if I can figure out what the problem is there.
Yeah,
Um,
interesting.
are
Okay.
you taking a long rest now?
Yeah, at this
All
point,
right. Um,
mentally satisfied, I collapse.
you do
Kind of,
level up when you
wow.
awaken.
Okay.
Yep.
We'll handle that next week then.
Yep.
Should I do the rest now or should I wait
Yeah, you can
until?
do it now.
Okay.
I don't think you really used any spell slots or anything, so.
Well, no, not so much. No.
And you're at full health, so.
I don't even think I tried to use the friend spell on the rabbit because I was a little too scared that he might react poorly to it. So I just went with raw charisma.
Yeah. It
Um,
worked on his wife. This is all good.
yeah, it usually does.
Yeah.
um,
You know you're going to lose that.
yeah, well, we'll see. The charisma, maybe not. The looks, yeah, possibly.
Yeah.
But then, I mean, if you like goth, it might really work. Plus, I can make myself look however I wish in terms of clothing. So come on.
Yeah, but clothing doesn't always just, help.
No, but hey, man, if she's got glowing red eyes, as long as she's not trying to kill me, I'm turned on.
All right.
Anyway,
Okay.
we'll come back. I guess next week. Yeah, this is at
Okay.
about the point for me.
Cool. Yep. This looks like a good place to stop.
Yep.
So, all right. I'll
Awesome.